Howard Cox, who is co-founder of Fair Fuel UK. Alongside him, James Thornton, who's from the environmental law firm Client Earth. Now, they're taking the government to court over their air pollution plans. In fact, you did so with some success. This is why the government now has to come up with this plan. What should the government do in order to clean up air pollution, bearing in mind that diesel cars particularly are being blamed? They're, you know, the bad guys in all of this. Diesel cars, which people will remember, we were all encouraged to go out and buy, given tax incentives by the government to purchase, and now lots of people driving these around facing a toxicity tax imposed by the London Mayor due to come in October this year.
Well, the reason we brought the case, and we took the government to court twice and won both times, the government is obliged to now come out with a plan on Monday, is because of the terrible health implications of air pollution, largely from diesel vehicles. So we have 40,000 deaths in the UK, 10,000 in London connected with air pollution. And the government now needs to come up with a plan. It's not rocket science how to clean up the air. So you need clean air zones, you need scrappage schemes, as you mentioned, and the scrappage schemes need to be fair. The ones that are being talked about of £1,000 or £2,000 aren't going to do it. We are very sympathetic. I'm personally very sympathetic to everyone who bought a diesel vehicle thinking they were doing the right thing because the government told them they were doing the right thing. The government was hoodwinked by the companies who were producing vehicles that polluted a lot more than they said they polluted. We all know the Volkswagen scandal.
Yes, James, there's a number of things there, but Howard, if we come to you, the fundamental one that he mentioned at the top, 40,000 deaths a year in the UK associated with air pollution, undoubtedly things need to be done.
Absolutely, and we totally support that. No problem at all. The aim is to actually clean up emissions.
So if we could introduce some sort of T-tax, as it's being dubbed, or some way to control the number of cars and cars that are polluting in cities that already have problems, is that not the way forward here?
Yeah, but you just said the same thing that I'm going to be saying again and again. A knee-jerk tax reaction is not the way to actually lower emissions. Something like 11% of emissions in London are down to diesel cars. That means 89% are not down to diesel cars, and yet they're going to be paying 100% of the penalty. This is totally unfair. And I know he's going to jump in on this one, and we're going to differ forever on this one, but the simple fact of life, as you mentioned, is they were told drive diesel, it lowers CO2.
Well, I mean, whose responsibility is this? Is this the government that told people to drive diesel cars, basically paid people to drive diesel cars? Is it the companies who, as James says, hoodwinked the government?
Well,
I mean,
there's no doubt about it.
The motorist is having to pick up the penalty here.
This is the point. This is why I'm here now to say this, stand on behalf of 15.5 million people driving diesel vehicles, and that's including HGVs, White Van Man, and of course, Mrs. Joe Bloggs. The simple fact of life, these people were told by the government, and under the government's watch and the European Union's watch, cars were tested under not road conditions. And therefore, the information that we're getting is wrong.
So, James, we were hoodwinked. You've already said that. We've been hoodwinked into buying diesel cars. I know my parents did exactly that. Tax incentives. They went and got themselves a diesel car because the government said, we're going to give you tax incentives. This is what you want you to be driving. Car scrappage schemes, all these sort of things. It is us, the people, that end up paying. If it is the government going to compensate everybody whose cars were bought in the wrong way? Why does the money have to come back to the person on the road?
Look, I mean, what you're saying is that it should be fair, moving to cleaner vehicles, and it should be fair. And it shouldn't be the taxpayers who pay for this. In our view, the companies should be contributing to the scrappage schemes.
The car companies.
Yeah. And the government has the power to make them do so. So when we look to equity and fairness, it should be the car companies that are compensating people so that they move to cleaner vehicles. And then if you have the cleaner vehicle, then you don't have to pay a daily charge. So.
Well, gentlemen, thanks both very much indeed. We'll find out on Monday what the actual plan is, but it seems you're both actually in agreement.
To a point.
The corporations should pay more.
Everyone is in agreement that we need clean air.
Yeah. OK. All right. Thanks both very much indeed.